You may or may not have a clear idea on what sort of residual income to create. The following tips are included to help you eliminate possibilities with hidden drawbacks or alert you to opportunities you may not have considered. Find your niche. If you haven't a clue what type of business to set up, don't despair. Let's do some creative brainstorming. I'm going to write a couple of questions, and you will need to fill in the blanks. Feel free to pause the video until you figure out your answers. So here goes. 1. The 3 things I enjoy doing most in life are. Number 2. My 7 strongest talents are. List 7 things you find easy. List 7 things you find hard. Number 3. I make the most money when I. Number 4. Time flies by when I. Number 5. Time absolutely drags and crawls when I. 6. I love blank. 7. I hate. What do you hate? Not only will this exercise help you narrow down areas to concentrate on and identify your strengths and weaknesses, it will also tip you off as to which areas you might want to outsource as soon as possible. And think of various types of residual programs you yourself subscribe to. Do any of these make you feel, I'd like to do that someday? Because someday could be now. Name your new membership site or newsletter. Here's where you're going to find the single exception to the online site naming rule. 1. Go for branding. You know all that stuff you learned about finding your best keyword and seeing if the .com version of that keyword is available? Well, throw that out the window. When it comes to membership sites, the reverse holds true. You need to create a catchy, brandable name that is easy to spell, easy to say, fun to say. And do say the name out loud. Then give several friends, relatives, and children to read it and say it out loud. You may be horrified to discover that the wonderful name you came up with, the Wetlands Nature Blogger, becomes something else to 80% of those who read it cold turkey. The Wetlands Nature Blogger. Avoid joining words that end and begin with the same letter. It causes visual confusion and makes the name less easy to remember, even if it's easy to say. For example, Helen's Business Services is nice and clear on a business card, but as a domain name, helensbusinessservices.com is going to leave people trying to remember exactly how many S characters are in it. It does help if your membership site name is either A, so catchy that the name sticks in people's brains like an irritating song, or B, providing a big, fat, clear clue on the subject matter. 2. Use power words, if possible, when naming your site. A few common ones are easy, secret, club, exclusive, pro, rich, wealthy, platinum, diamond, golden, lucky. A perfect example of a memorable, strong name employing power words would be Easy Member Pro, and easymemberpro.com is very readable and short as a website domain URL. 3. Try to use a name that is appropriate for every culture. For example, a fag in Britain is commonly a slang term for a cigarette, whereas in North America, it's universally understood as a derogatory term for a homosexual person. Frank's Fags fans would generate either a total lack of response from the target group or some pretty angry letters in the US or Canada if it was meant to be a membership site where smokers could band together and visitors either A, didn't visit simply judged by the name, or B, were looking for something entirely different. In a similar vein, the color white is associated with weddings and innocence in the West. But if you were marketing your site in Japan, Calling your wedding resource blog and membership site White Wedding Creator Pro and having white-clad people in your images might backfire by conjuring up strong associations with death, since in Japanese culture, white is the color of death. 4. Consider your demographic. The people you're trying to reach may prove the exceptions to the above rule. Take the example of Bacardi, who deliberately went with black, the color of death, in Western culture, and subliminally death imagery in order to reach a younger, risk-taking, edgy, anti-establishment demographic. When they incorporated images and colors traditionally off-putting to other demographics, sales soared through the roof. You may also find it helpful to instantly pre-qualify and weed out those who wouldn't appreciate your site while attracting those who would be using insider terminology or slang only a particular group would know. Just make sure it doesn't apply to any other group who would be shocked if they entered your site thinking that it was about something else, as in our Frank's Fags fans example above. 5. Make sure it's not taken. You don't want to put a lot of effort into branding, then discover someone else has registered and trademarked your name. Have some fun when brainstorming your site name. Break a few rules if it works with your demographic or the name you come up with is just too irresistible. But do test it out on members of the niche demographic you're trying to reach. Make your plan. Here we are going to provide a handy worksheet. Now is the time to start filling it out. Print out lots of these. You'll likely revise it a few times. My membership site business plan. Mission statement. What my goals are, how I will achieve them. My goal is to do something for someone and create a specific result. And then you'll need to know how you're going to do it, what you're going to provide, what this will do for them. Business goals. You can set up your goals to be short-term, long-term, or maybe more specific like next year. The legalities. Trademark, registered name. Is it going to be a brand? Are there any local laws that might affect it? Taxes. How are you going to track and record expenses? And you'll need to prepare your privacy policy, terms and conditions, and disclaimer. My system. When it comes to the technical details, you'll need to take care of all of the following: scripts and plugins, web host, domain registrar, autoresponder, shopping cart, and others. Outsourcing. When are you going to start outsourcing? Immediately? Later? Are you going to require setup and installation, VA services, customer support, forum moderation, graphic design? My setup costs. And then you're going to have to calculate your cost for all the following: scripts and plugins, web host, domain registrar, autoresponder, shopping cart, graphic design, and other fees.